Hello and thank you for watching my video. This video is going to be looking at the Heart of Thorns expansion and the mastery system that's being introduced with it. So we've been given a few little details about what are masteries, and masteries, as we can see here, this is from the Guild Wiki, the actual Guild Wars 2 website. It explains that masteries provide abilities and bonuses that's account bound, and it allows you to, gain experience in PvE and progress PvE by playing PvE content. And it actually expands the world. So what I'm guessing that means is that as you're progressing and getting more mastery traits, you can access, things like the gliding. You can glide further and actually expand your sort of horizons and go further and unlock new areas that you couldn't do unless you actually had these traits and abilities. And in a video I'm going to show you later, I'm going to show you how we actually get some masteries. And as you can see here, this actually has what is the point of masteries? Well, masteries allow you to gain lore, so you can access probably new events and new areas. You can master jungle exploration through the gliding system and the mushrooms you can do. And also we have things like interior at the moment, like the fractals, obviously the precursor, and the ability to sort of defeat the Mordrum in a quicker and sort of easier style. So this is actually on the Guild Wars wiki. Obviously you can see it's account bound for level 80 characters. You can complete content and overcome challenges to gain mastery points. And obviously each mastery point is tied to a particular objective, and so it can only be acquired once per account, meaning you will have to go around the world. You can obviously use them to unlock certain tiers of mastery tracks, and very similar to PvP, only one mastery track can be active at any one time. Now that is going to be something pretty interesting indeed, because similar to PvP, you can only access one reward track at a time. By having this, only one mastery track can be active at a time. So you can only use the gliding if you are sort of you traded into that. If you had some traits in the mushrooms, for example, you'd actually have to activate the mushroom mastery track to actually go and use your mushroom skills. So that's what they're saying so far. However, I'm sure that might change if people wanted to jump and glide and do other things as well. Obviously, you can learn languages of the civilization. There are different races out in the expansion, and you'll be able to communicate with them better by completing masteries and spending mastery points in those tracks. Again, we mentioned the precursor. There's been a lot talked about the precursors. There's a lot talking about the collections and how there'll be a collection for each weapon, and they are going to be account bound precursors rather than sellable. So this is actually taken from the stress test demo. I wanted to show you guys just an example. This is me completing an adventure, and I actually got a mastery trait from completing the adventure. So here, this was to to flame through and blow all the vines away. So apart from the usual stuff that we get these mastery points earned. Now, the mastery track at the moment, you have to click on your skill bar to activate it. So you can see here we actually have all the lore type languages. These are the Tyria ones, which I'm sure obviously they're going to be a much more packed Tyria in masteries when it actually comes out. We have the fractals and obviously the legendary precursor crafting. But going back to Heart of Maguna, you can see here, I've actually got the gliding activated, as shown by the little tick in the left-hand side. And you can see you can spend a number of points, very similar to World versus World. The higher the skill, the more points you actually have to spend on them. And obviously that gives you more and more benefits. So they seem to have taken a few different aspects from things like World versus World, using this spending point system, and also the mastery track from PvP, where you can only activate one at a time that you're going for. But here you only allow, because I'm activated the gliding one, if I jump off I'll be able to glide, but if I go up to a mushroom I won't be able to jump on it, because I'll be having the gliding mastery activated. I'll be a master of gliding, for example, but I won't be a master of, for example, the Itzel language or the Nuhok lore. So that's something that it needs to be bear in mind if you are going around the world. You know, you might want to max certain aspects first. How do we get these mastery points? Well, as I mentioned earlier, you can get them through adventures. You can also get them through communing with certain skill points. But these lore items, they actually do give out sort of different rewards and different bonuses. Here, obviously, look, if you see there's a little plus symbol for, you know, next to the number 2 gliding updraft use. So that means that I'll be able to use updrafts around the world. Again, that means that I could therefore fly longer. But again, you've got the Exalted here, and you can see as I scroll through them, you can make your attacks against Mordrum a lot more efficient. And I can also, again, access to certain areas of the new expansion because I've got Exalted Lore Mastery. And again, so I can, Wyverns won't be able to knock me down with their wing buffets. That's going to be a terrific mastery to have when fighting the Wyvern. So, much like you can change your skills out of combat, you'll be able to change your mastery out of combat. You won't be able to change it in combat. So that's something, again, you know, you can go around the world using your gliding mastery or the jumping mushrooms, and then you can switch and go into the Exalted lore, and then you will be able to access all the content in that area because you're a master of the Exalted lore. Or if you want to swap to the Itzul lore, you can put yourself, you know, if you're out of combat, swap to Itzul lore mastery, and the same with the New Hawk language. And you can see here as I'm scrolling through, they're giving me different aspects here, you know, the right to enter trials, the ways of surviving Chak energy, you know, here sort of, there are different aspects for each mastery, and they're all very, very good to take on. But obviously this is going to take time for you to, as you work your way through the expansion, you'll be gaining some of the aspects. And it is my opinion that I feel that some of the story for the expansion will not be able to be completed unless you have maxed out some of these masteries, and it's going to take you time to actually acquire those. So here we have the mushroom lore. Obviously, you know, they can make you jump further and higher, and that's obviously going to be, you've got to get to this location, you need to max out your mushroom mastery. So you've got to go around the world trying to get some mastery points so that you can spend on the mushroom lore sort of aspect, mushroom lore trait line. So again, you've got the gliding here. Obviously, that's to do with how far you go, and you know, sort of you know, you can gain updrafts. If you get an updraft, you can, you know, fly further and longer. So each mastery is very, very useful for, you know, going out into the world, and it's giving you different aspects. And the same goes for, you know, the Tyria, the current Tyria aspects, which would be fractal attunement and the legendary precursor crafting. So I'm sure more and more will be added after that. But yeah, I think this is where you're going to have to, you know, I'm going to do a video looking at sort of preparation for this, and I think going around and getting sort of achievements done would be wise, because we don't fully know how masteries are going to work in game for like the Tyria location and how skill points are going to be come into this. So you can see here I actually spent a point in the mushroom lore. However, because I didn't actually have it active, I couldn't use the mushrooms. So you'll see that golden tick, that means that it's actually active. I do believe that's the case anyway. But I wasn't able to use any jumping mushrooms in the sort of the beta stress test. I don't think they were active anyway, but yeah, that might be changing. As I said, this is going on things that have come out by ArenaNet. So because we're talking about something that hasn't been released yet, you have to take everything with a little bit of, you know, it might be like this, it might not be. So you'll see here, I try and use the bouncing mushroom. I think it's because I didn't figure out that I had to change mastery tracks. I didn't realize this at the time. So when I was going here, I was like, why am I not bouncing on a mushroom? I've just spent a point in the mushroom mastery. What's going on? So I thought, okay, maybe you could jump down and sort of land on it, and it'll bounce me back up again. Maybe something like that, but no. So the masteries are going to be very interesting coming into Guild Wars 2. It does give you much sort of progression, things to do once you hit level 80, which is something that a lot of players don't really have the opportunity to do, because they hit level 80, they've got all the skills that they need, they've got all the traits that they need, and what else are there to do? I mean, you get mountains and mountains of skill points, but now you're going to have the mastery trait line, and using the masteries, skill points, the mastery points you're going to get, it really is going to benefit you to go around and try and get all the mastery points that you can. So this next bit is actually an example of that, of spending points in the trait, the mastery track. In the gliding, you'll notice that there is a mastery orb, and to get to that, you actually need to have you need to be traded in the gliding trait line. So you can see there we're gliding down to the mastery orb, and that is a way in which, by gaining mastery points, spending them in certain tracks, you can actually progress throughout the expansion. So this is how I believe that they're going to stop people from completing the the expansion in a single day. So you can see here again, there are mastery orbs dotted around the place. You've got a mastery orb at the top over there, and it's going to be getting to those places will be a little bit tricky, and you have to be a master of something to actually get to there. So things like the languages is probably going to be more prevalent in that sense. So here it actually gives you a rundown on the wiki of each description on what the actual mastery trait line, the benefits it gives you. So you might want to actually have a look at the wiki and look at what the traits you can get and what skills they give you and the benefits that they give you, because I know initially it's going to be difficult to tell what's best to go for. I would suggest going gliding straight away, because it will make sure your life's a bit easier. But then you've got things like the mushroom lore, the languages lore, that's obviously going to be needed for certain parts of the personal story. And obviously we've got there the fractal achievements and also the legendary precursor achievements. They are related to the Tyria side, so they will probably have something to do with either skill points, exploring the world, or something like throughout the Tyria that we already have. So that's probably we're going to get a bit more notice a little bit later down the line, and it's why I suggest to people that they should do all the achievements. But masteries are here to stay, and obviously it's going to focus on new abilities without invalidating the old achievements, and give us new challenges, and it's a really good system that they're bringing in. So I thank you very much for watching and listening to this, guys. I hope this has been a bit of a education for you and gives you some idea of what the masteries are likely to be like and how they're going to fit into Guild Wars 2. But thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.